Hey everybody, it's your boy Jim, this time doing a Transformers review. Yeah, I've been doing some Transformers video reviews on Dailymotion, but I decided to re-upload them onto this second YouTube channel just for Transformers reviews. So yeah, don't expect them to be very frequent or to be all that impressive or whatever. It's just, I'm reviewing some figures that I like to review. Now, this video will also be posted onto Dailymotion, but yeah, this will be the first new review for the YouTube channel. And at the end of the last review that I did, which was War for Cybertron Kingdom Cheetor, what we have here is Beast Wars Tarantulas, the original 1996 version. As you can see, he's just a spider, but he doesn't look that much like a tarantula. But you may already notice that there's something a little bit off about him. That's because initially there was a string of rope here from this anchor-shaped missile that would allow him to hang from a surface, or like from a ledge or whatever, or some kind of bar like from a desk light. But what I decided to do is not just to cut that rope, but also remove this little ledge here. So technically my figure is not completely assembled, but this is a tiny piece that's worth leaving out for a particularly good reason in the robot mode, which we'll get to later. But yeah, for now, he's a spider, and the articulation is astonishingly crap. You only have 6 ball joints, 2 for his mandibles or pedipalps or whatever, and 1 for each one of his 4 front legs. That's because these legs can also be popped off and used as extra missiles for this piece here, which is actually his gun that's stored in his abdomen. But yeah, let me actually just quickly move my keyboard from my desk so we can actually have a better full-size look at the beast mode. But it's not that great. Of course, it's nowhere near tarantula shaped. The fun fact is about tarantulas, initially he was going to be translucent orange, but now he was changed to translucent purple, done more so for greater color variety, because back then you also had Cheetor and Rhinox and Dinobot, who are like various yellows and browns and whatever, so an orange spider would kind of make that kind of blend into like a cohesive color, so yeah, they decided not to do that. No beast mode size comparisons, but in standard fashion with my reviews, here he is next to my standard alt mode size comparison figure, which is a broken Transformers Prime Bumblebee. The main body of the spider is actually not that big, but he does gain extra size because of his legs. So yeah, there's that. Now, if you didn't remove the missile already, transformation is actually going to be very simple. By the way, I won't demonstrate popping off the spider legs, because I can't be bothered. But yeah, transformation, very simple. Let me also just raise the tripod legs a bit. By the way, I also got a new computer, or at least some new hardware for my existing computer. We also had to reinstall Windows, but yeah. Anyway, transformation. Get to the underside and you pull his legs down, which I'm going to do fairly gently because this is actually my second one using some of the pieces of my first Tarantulas figure, which actually broke. And some of the pieces are made of translucent plastics, so you do want to be a little bit careful with this guy. Fortunately, it's not necessarily in a lot of load-bearing stuff, but still. Let's see. Raise the camera. There we go. Next, you take these portions here, pull them out. Oh, I appear to have gotten an email, which I'll check when I'm finished recording this section of the review. This is going to be a multi-section review because I did do a little bit something special with some of the preserved pieces of the other one. And then we take the head of the spider and just fold that onto the chest. And then you fold those front spider legs up on those ball joints into whatever position you deem to be good or cool. And here we have Tarantulas in his original robot mode. The original toy from before the TV show existed. So he doesn't look that much like how he did in the show. Because much like with Generation 1, Beast Wars was a Transformers cartoon where the toys came before the cartoon. So you don't have 100% show accuracy with some figures. Some of them are actually pretty good. Tarantulas is sadly not one of those cases, and he's almost as big as Bumblebee, so that's actually pretty good. Pretty good size for a deluxe. So yeah. Of course, the main thing is that, you know, you have this gray plastic for the insides of his thighs, the ball joint sockets on his hips and his lower legs, and of course the head. In fact, when I was a kid, because the head is solid gray with a black visor, I kind of thought this looked like a Power Rangers helmet. Oh, yay. So, yeah. Also, a lot of people are kind of complaining about how it was actually maybe misassembled in the package, because basically from my experience, this is the way how the forearms should be. Like, usually they were swapped around so that these shorter claw ends were on the outside as opposed to the inside. But I can clearly tell that these are supposed to be thumbs. So yeah. So they're supposed to be like this. Otherwise, sorry if I turn them around here. Otherwise people would have this with the short end on the outside, which doesn't look that good. Or this, so that, you know, you have this beautiful top side, but then the arm can't bend forward. So, like, why the hell would you do that? Just do it like this, how I have. Yes, these gaps on should be on the top, but the long claw ends should be on the outside, like those are his fingers. In fact, that is how it was in the show, I think. Gimmickry. Well, we can't take out his gun from his back. There we go. And we can plug the handle into that little hole. Just be a bit careful, because again, translucent plastic. If you use a little bit of super glue, like just smearing a tiny bit, you can increase the friction, but don't push too heavily because things will break. Rest assured, he's in pretty good condition. It's just that some of the joints are a little on the stiff side, but not too terribly much. So we can pop his missile in there. And the other gimmick is, of course, that being a first generation Beast Wars figure, he also has an obligatory mutant head. Or rather, the head that we saw is the mutant head. This would be like the default head, which became the standard head for Black Arachnia. Of course, there are several Black Arachnia recolors of this figure. The original Hasbro one was garbage. The original Takara one was a little bit better, but the best Black Arachnia recolor of the Tarantulas mold was the Telemoka 10th anniversary. Yeah, the Telemoka version. Telemoka was basically the Japanese Beast Wars 10th anniversary toy line. So, like, instead of Cheetor and Tarantulas, they actually had Tigatron and Black Arachnia. But yeah, so let's just bring this head down again. The articulation, it's pretty good. It's a bit low by today's standards, but it's still good. Like, you have a ball joint at the head, so you can look around, look from side to side, bit of up and down, bit of sideways tilt. That's good. The transformation hinges in the chest allow the arms to kind of go back on a butterfly joint, kind of. Then, of course, you have the shoulders in the ball jointed shoulders themselves, so the arms can rotate forward. They can rotate forwards, backwards, and outwards, which is good. Ball joints in the elbows, so they can bend and obviously rotate like a bicep swivel. You have 180-degree knees because of the transformation and ball jointed hips. But initially, the legs could only really move forwards and outwards. This is why I actually removed that little ledge, because now they can also move backwards quite a bit. And the best way to do it is you just take these two screws out so that then you can kind of lift the whole body, or this whole backside around on the transformation hinge, and maybe leave the green belly piece still plugged in if those tabs hadn't broken here. And then you can take out the screw for this flap, for that little ledge. So that's a very easy mod for giving your tarantulas somewhat better leg articulation. And that's a simple review of Tarantulas. But and he's good enough to get, like, say 7 out of 10, because he's a pretty good figure. It's just that, you know, he's not very show accurate, and it's a little bit low effort, but, you know, it's still good. But he could have been better. Like, if he was painted more cartoon accurately, like if his color scheme was a bit more like he was in the show, his score would definitely go up. Like to say an 8 out of 10 or something. And you can try to find the Beast Wars 10th anniversary version of him, which recolors the head to be more show accurate, even though the sculpt and the design is a little bit different still. At least it's still decoed more accurately. And I think they also changed the shade of green for the plastic used on the bicep pieces and the belly. Plus they also used that for the leg pieces. Everything that's gray was recast in that green plastic. I think even the toe pieces, which I can confirm, are gray plastic with copper paint on them. But you may already noticed a few spare pieces there. Oh wait, you didn't notice them, but now there they are. There's the remainder of another Tarantulas corpse. Give me a few minutes and I'll show you what I did. Because I did intentionally decided to reassemble him in factory condition for the review. But give me a few minutes and then he'll look more like how he like the 10th anniversary version. There we go. Now, as you can see, when it comes to some of the pieces of the other Tarantulas, I repainted the gun and only the lower legs, but also definitely the head. Now that could have been done a bit better, I suppose, but sod it, I'm happy with the way it is. Because besides, this is hand painted, not spray painted. As I didn't have any green spray paint. And the reason why I decided to keep the thighs gray is because the reason I got a second Tarantulas in the first place is because one of the thighs has a broken socket. See? That didn't just break now, that actually broke a long time ago. Several months ago, in fact. So, yeah. And that explains this custom Tarantulas. But yeah, I hope you guys like that quick surprise. The next figure that I'm going to review is... let's just say he's a blue jerk. Have fun guessing. See you then!